Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. We have more gaming and PlayStation news, rumours and leaks to go over. If you enjoyed today's video, please show your support by hitting that like button. CD Projekt Red, the studio behind the futuristic RPG Cyberpunk 2077, has just rolled out update 2.3 and it's big. In fact, it's freaking massive. It's packed with some significant new features that focuses heavily on vehicle use and customization. Now, the update officially goes live on July the 17th, and it looks like it's aimed at giving players more control, more style, and a smoother overall experience, especially when cruising through Night City. For starters, we're getting 3 brand new cars and a motorcycle, and this isn't just any bike. This will be the first motorbike in the game that players can actually customize. Whether it's tweaking the appearance or swapping parts out, players now have a chance to make their ride truly unique. Now, to unlock these new vehicles, you'll need to complete a short in-game mission. And according to Powell Sasko, one of the associate game directors at CD Projekt Red, these missions will be simple to trigger and won't feel out of the way. One thing to note though, these missions won't affect your 100% game completion progress or achievement, so trophy hunters can sit back and relax. Now, one of the most exciting features introduced in this update is the auto drive system. Think of it like a cruise control, but in the cyberpunk world. So in the game, you set a waypoint on your map and the vehicle will drive itself. It follows the road, obeys traffic laws, and gives you a break from manual driving. This is an inverse universe feature arriving as a software update for vehicles within the game's world, which is a clever touch by the developers. But that's not all. Update 2.3 also brings a bunch of technical improvements. Variable refresh rate support has been added for console versions, improving smoothness during the gameplay on compatible displays. A photo mode upgrade that now lets you change the time of day and weather. This is huge for players who enjoy capturing cinematic screenshots. On the PC side of things, FSR 4 and AMD's FFX Super Resolution 3.1 are now supported, allowing for better performance and sharper visuals, especially on mid-range systems. Now, if you've been following Cyberpunk 2077 since launch, you'll know the game had a pretty ropey start when it dropped back in December 2020. It launched on PlayStation 4, Xbox One and PC, but the console versions, especially on the older systems, were riddled with bugs, performance issues and crashes. The backlash was massive, and CD Projekt Red spent the next couple of years working hard to rebuild the game's reputation, and reports suggest that they have spent around $125 million on patches, updates and the development of the critically acclaimed expansion Phantom Liberty. Fast forward to today, and the game has gone from being one of the most criticized launches in history to a great example of a gaming comeback story, especially now with features like auto drive and deeper customization making their way into the game. So pretty impressive updates if you're into the world of Cyberpunk 2077. However, moving on to some disappointing news, Sony has officially announced that the PlayStation Stars program, which was a company digital loyalty program, will now be winding down. The program is set to fully shut its doors in November 2026, bringing an end to what was a 3-year run of rewards, collectibles, and community engagement. If you've never heard of the PlayStation Stars or haven't been involved in it, PlayStation Stars launched back in 2022 to reward loyal PlayStation players. It was a free program where users could earn points by completing certain gaming challenges, making purchases on the PlayStation Store, or hitting specific milestones. These points could then be redeemed for things like PSN wallet funds or digital collectibles, small 3D models inspired by classic PlayStation games, characters, and hardware. However, Sony has now stopped accepting any new signups. If you're not already part of the program, there's no way to join anymore. And even if you're already a member, changes are coming very, very quickly. In fact, starting next week, there will be no new collectibles added, and you'll no longer be able to earn points or increase your membership level through regular activity. That being said, you can still redeem any existing points so long as they haven't expired. So while the program won't be adding anything new or offering any further engagement opportunities, current members do have until the final closure in November 2026 to use whatever they've earned. Sony took a moment to thank the community, saying that the loyalty and support from fans will not be forgotten. This announcement follows a gradual winding down of the program. Early this year, Sony had already confirmed that from March 2025 onwards, users would no longer earn reward points through PlayStation Plus subscriptions, hinting that the program might be nearing its end. So while PlayStation Stars isn't disappearing overnight, it's clear that Sony is moving on, and PlayStation fans should be prepared for the program's gradual fade into the background. Of course, this is not good news. Let's just hope Sony replaces this with something else to reward loyal gamers who spend their hard-earned money on the platform in a meaningful way. So guys, let's move on. It's hard to believe that Ghosts of Tsushima is officially 5 years old. For me, one of the best games I've ever played. Absolutely fantastic. The game launched back in 2020, and in that short period of time, it's managed to leave a lasting impression on PlayStation fans from around the world. Whether it was the cinematic storytelling, fluid combat systems, or the stunning open-world game design, this title quickly established itself as one of the standout games on the PlayStation platform. And to celebrate its 5-year milestone, the team behind the game, SuckerPunch Productions, has released something special for its fans. On their social media accounts, the studio announced a free set of PlayStation Network avatars that players can claim. These black and white avatars feature the game's protagonist, Jin Sakai, and the artwork is taken from promotional materials created by none other than Takashi Okazaki, the artist best known for Afro Samurai. Best of all, these avatars are free and available to everyone. All you need to do is head to the PlayStation Store and redeem the code specific to your region. Now you can find the redemption links and codes in the YouTube video description. Since its launch, Ghosts of Tsushima has been nothing short of a success story. It was a bold move by Sony and SuckerPunch to introduce a brand new IP in a genre where competition is fierce, but the gamble has paid off. The game was praised for its rich visuals, emotionally grounded story, and combat system that struck a perfect balance between elegance and brutality. By April 2024, the game had sold over 13 million copies worldwide, a massive achievement for a brand new franchise only available on one platform at the time. With those kinds of numbers, it's no surprise that a sequel is officially on the way. Ghosts of Yotai is the upcoming sequel set in the same fictional world as Tsushima, but takes place hundreds of years later. This time the story follows Atsu, an outlaw driven by revenge. And while we don't know every bit of detail, it's clear that the game will carry over many of the themes and gameplay elements that made the original such a hit, while giving players a fresh experience in a new time period. If Yotai is anything like Tsushima, we can expect another deep, emotionally charged journey wrapped in stunning visuals and engaging combat, and I cannot wait. Let's move on, guys, to some troubled times. There's some unfortunate industry news coming from Virtuos, the game development company currently collaborating with Konami on the Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater game, and also the studio behind the recent Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion remastered game. Now, Virtuos has confirmed it's undergoing a significant company restructure, which includes laying off around 7% of its global workforce. That might not sound like much on paper, but we're talking about 300 employees, give or take, across multiple regions, which is quite a big shakeup for the company. Now, most of the layoffs affected the teams that were experiencing low project activity or were impacted by changing demands within the gaming industry. Specifically, around 200 roles were cut in Asia and another 70 across Europe. And Virtuos is saying that it's trying to manage the situation with care. The company is offering severance packages, career assistance, and is even exploring redeployment opportunities across other offices. They've emphasized their commitment to staying a top-tier outsourcing partner for major gaming studios around the world. But this news comes as a bit of a surprise because only a few months ago, Oblivion Remastered was released to strong sales and a positive reception. And on top of that, Virtuos is also involved in the high-profile remake of Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, scheduled to launch in August of this year. So how can a studio with so many active, seemingly successful projects be laying off hundreds of employees? Well, one theory comes from a French games journalist, Gauthier Andreas, who reports that Virtuos didn't structure its Oblivion Remastered contract in a way that allowed the company to benefit from its commercial success. In other words, no bonus payments were given to the studio based on how well the game sold. Instead, the remaster was intended more as a technical showcase, a way to prove what the studio could do in hopes of landing future deals. And it's a strategy that looks like it's backfired. There are even reports that staff at Virtuos Lyon office in France are planning to protest the layoffs, arguing that the decision doesn't reflect the actual productivity or success of the teams affected. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Virtuos, it's important to understand that this isn't a small studio. They're actually one of the biggest outsourcing companies in the gaming world, with over 4,000 employees across offices globally. Their teams have worked on countless AAA games, supporting other developers, often helping with art, level design, and optimization. And that's how they're able to juggle multiple projects like Cyberpunk 2077 updates, the Oblivion Remastered, and Metal Gear Solid Delta, all all at the same time. And despite these layoffs, Virtuos insists it's still continuing to invest in global development and maintain strong relationships with major publishers. But understandably, the restructure raises concerns about how even a large established studio can struggle in today's volatile gaming industry. So really sad to see how more people are being laid off once again in the gaming industry, especially after the studio was involved in such a successful relaunch of Oblivion Remastered. I mean, whoever agreed the contracts with no bonuses based on sales performance, wow, I mean, what an amateur move that was. Guys, let me know your thoughts on this in the comments down below, and let's move on. Now, one of the most well-known video game franchises of all time is officially being turned into a live action series. Assassin's Creed, the long-running historical action series developed by Ubisoft, is heading to Netflix, marking another major step in the streaming platform's growing focus on video game adaptations. Now, Netflix has confirmed that production is now underway for the new series, which has been in the works actually for several years. The project is being led by Roberto Patino and David Weinert, two well-respected creators in the world of television. And if their names sound familiar, it's probably because Patino has worked on shows like Westworld, Sons of Anarchy, and DMZ, and that's DMZ for those in the UK. While Weiner has writing and showrunning credits for Halo, Homecoming, and The Killing. Both will serve as showrunners, creators, and executive producers for the Assassin's Creed adaptation. The Assassin's Creed franchise launched back in 2007 and quickly grew to one of the best-selling and most recognizable game series in the world. At its core, Assassin's Creed tells the story of an ongoing battle between two ancient secret organizations: the Assassins, who believe in preserving freedom and free will, and the Templars, who seek to impose order and control on humanity, often through manipulation. And what makes the Assassin's Creed story so unique is how it blends historical fiction with science fiction. Players and now viewers will follow characters who tap into the memories of their ancestors using a device called the Animus, which allows them to relive and explore past lives during real-world historical events. Now, over the years, the series has taken players everywhere from Renaissance Italy and ancient Greece to feudal Japan and Victorian London. Netflix describes the upcoming series as a high-stakes thriller, one that follows characters navigating important moments in history, all while caught in this secret war between the two rival factions. It's not just about action though. The creators say the heart of the show will be about identity, legacy, and the human experience. Now, in a joint statement, Weiner and Patino shared their passion for the project, saying that they've been fans of Assassin's Creed games since the very beginning. And what excites them most isn't just the action or the parkour, although there will definitely be plenty of that, but the deeper themes that run through the franchise. They talked about how the story touches on purpose, belief, power, and the relationships that define us, and they're aiming to bring all of that depth to the screen. They also made it clear that this just isn't a project for long-time fans. The goal is to create something that works for everyone. Whether you've played every game in the series or you're coming into the world of Assassin's Creed for the very first time, the show is being developed as part of a larger deal between Netflix and Ubisoft, which was first announced back in 2020. The Assassin's Creed series is actually the first of several planned projects tied to that partnership. It means that we could be seeing even more adaptations based on the Assassin's Creed universe, or possibly even other Ubisoft franchises in the future. And Netflix's Vice President of Scripted Series, Peter Fredlander, said that this has been a long journey and that the team would work closely with Ubisoft to make sure that they stay true to what made the games so special. He also hinted that this new adaptation is shaping up to be one of Netflix's most ambitious game-based shows to date. The production team is stacked with talent, and Ubisoft seems to be playing a very active role in ensuring that the show reflects the tone and the scope of the franchise accurately. Ubisoft said they were excited to work with Netflix and this creative team to bring Assassin's Creed to new audiences around the world. Their goal is to deliver a series that stays true to the heart of the franchise while introducing new stories and perspectives that fans can connect with. Since launching in 2007, Assassin's Creed has sold over 230 million copies across all of its titles, making it one of the top-selling game series in history. Its reputation has been built on deep, rich storytelling, expansive open worlds, and its ability to turn history into a playable and now watchable experience. The live-action project also builds on Netflix's growing lineup of video game-inspired series, which has already included Castlevania, Cyberpunk Edgerunners, and the highly praised Arcane based on League of Legends. With Splinter Cell Deathwatch also on the way, it's clear that Netflix is serious about building a strong portfolio of gaming content. There's a lot riding on the Assassin's Creed adaptation for Ubisoft, it's a chance to expand their franchise into a new medium. And for Netflix, it's another step forward in creating content that taps into the massive crossover between gaming and streaming. And for fans, it's an opportunity to revisit a world that they've played in. Guys, let me know your thoughts on this. Are you excited to see a live action take on the Assassin's Creed series? Let me know your thoughts in the comments about the content discussed in today's video, and I'll catch you on the next video.